Hey guys, welcome to my channel Learning Made Easy Peasy. Hey everyone, I hope you all are doing well. Today in this class we are going to learn full history of 9th standard part 2 textbook, that is the Karnataka state government published textbook, and this video is related to only competitives. So let's begin. The first lesson is the Mughals and the Marathas. So let us first see the Mughals. In the Mughals, we have Babur, then Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and finally Aurangzeb. So we will learn about these kings in this series. Let us first see Babur. He established the Mughal rule. The first battle of Panipat was fought between Babur and Ibrahim Lodi in 1526 CE. This is important. Please remember the year. It was 1526 CE. Babur invaded India 5 times. Baburnama or Tuzuke Babari. This Baburnama or Tuzuke Babari was an autobiography of Babur. In this book, he describes the political events. Apart from political events, he also describes the natural features, beauty, flora, fauna, and gardens of his place. And it is written in Turkish language. Abdul, Abdul Rahim Khan translated Babur's book, that is Tuzuke Babari or Baburnama, into Persian language. It is originally written in Turkish language and then it was translated into Persian language by Abdul Rahim Khan. Please remember this, this is important. Then we have Humayun. Humayun was the eldest son of Babur. This picture over here, this is of Babur, and this picture over here, he is Humayun. Sher Suri. Sher Suri was very popular and he was very famous because he was very strong and powerful and he has done certain things which are remembered even today. So it is important that we learn something about him. So let us see. The original name of Sher Suri was Farid. He was the founder of Sur dynasty. Sur dynasty. Then he started attendance for the soldiers and stamping dog of horses. This is very, very important. Please remember this. It has been asked several times in several competitive exams. It will be asked again. Okay, so the person who started attendance for the soldiers and stamping dog for horses was Sher Shah Suri. He had the title of Sultan of the Fair Justice. Why? Because he was a just ruler. New silver coin known as Dam was started by Sher Shah Suri. All this is important, okay? The title, then the thing that he started, that is the attendance and the stamping of Dag on the horses, all this, and the new silver coin that is Dam. Please remember the name, okay? Dam. Then 1000 700 sarais were constructed by Sher Shah Suri. This is also important. All these things are important, okay? Right from his name, that is Farid, to the founder of Sur dynasty, then the attendance of the soldiers, stamping of Dag, the Sultan of Fair Justice, Dam, and 1700 sarais were constructed by Sher Shah Suri. The most important thing about him is the four main highways. It is also called as Grand Trunk Road. Okay, this is very important. It was built from Sonargaon to the banks of river Indus through Agra, then Delhi and Lahore. This route was called as Sadak-e-Azam. This is important. And remember from where all, it comes. Like from Sonargaon till Lahore. The end is Lahore, but there are other places also like the river Indus, through Agra, then Delhi, and finally Lahore. So remember the cities also. And from Agra to Burhanpur, from Agra to Chittor, and from Lahore to Multan. Can you see this picture over here? Right from Peshawar till Kolkata. This road, that is the four main highways that were built by Sher Shah Suri, is famously called as the Grand Trunk Road. And this picture over here, he is Sher Shah Suri. Akbar. Very famous, very important. Please read as much as you can on Akbar because many questions appear on him. This photo over here, this is Akbar. Can you see him? Yes. Hemu, the military general of Bengal King Muhammad Shah Abdali, conquered Delhi and Agra. The second battle of Panipat was fought between Hemu and Mughal Badshah Akbar in 1556 CE. This is important, please remember the year. And the people it was fought between. The Prime Minister and royal representative of Akbar was Bairam Khan. This is also important. The Battle of Haldi Ghati was fought between Akbar and Maharana Pratap Singh. Akbar abolished jizya. What is jizya? It was the head tax it was on Hindus. It was not a tax, it was head tax. Head tax on Hindus. So this was abolished by Akbar, jizya. If you remember, we have done this in the last class also. I hope you remember this. Then, Raja Todarmal was a famous minister of finance. Bhagwan Das, Man Singh, Todarmal, and Rai Singh were governors. This is important. Bhagwan Das, Man Singh, Todarmal, and Rai Singh. All these people were what? They were governors. He established a new religion called as Din-e-Ilahi in 1582 CE. Abdul Fazl was the chief architect of this religion. This is very, very important. Please remember, Abdul Fazl was the chief architect of the religion Din-e-Ilahi, which was started or established by Akbar. The main aim of Din Ilahi was to control the bloodthirsty fundamentalist forces. This is very, very important. Remember this. So, the cause to start this new religion of Din Ilahi was so great, isn't it? Okay. The 9 gems or Navaratnas in Akbar's court. Can you see this picture? This person sitting over here is King Akbar. And these people are none other than the 9 gems, the Navaratnas who were there in the Akbar's court. Who were they? They were Todarmal, Abul Fazl, Faizi, Birbal, Tansen, Abdur Rahim. He was also called as Khane Khana. So Abdur Rahim, Khane Khana, Hamim Humam, Mullah Do Pyaz, and Man Singh. All these people, these 9 people, were called as 9 gems or Navaratnas in Akbar's court. Remember their names. This is very, very important. There were 4 ministers called Vakil, Diwan, Mir Bakshi, and Main Sadar to assist in the administration. This is also important. And what were their main works is to remember. What was the main work of Vakil, Diwan, Mir Bakshi, and Main Sadar? Main Sadar. If it is not available in the textbook, please Google it. Okay. There were 15 subhas. 15 subhas. Each subha had a sipaha salar, that is governor. Separate department to stamp the horses known as Dag Mahali was established. This is very, very important. Who established Dag Mahali? It was Akbar. Akbar brought Jubilee system into practice. It was called as the system of Todarmal. Todarmal was a very great minister. He had started many different systems as well. Please read about him. He is important. Land was classified as Polaj, Parauti, Chachar, Banjar. We have done this in the previous classes also. And it is important. Jahangir led an attack on Mewad ruler in 1613 CE. Then Shah Jahan, the golden period. The golden period of Mughals was the period or the rule of Shah Jahan. Why so? Because he had done immense of development, especially in art, architecture, painting, music, literatures, everything, everything developed a lot. And also Shah Jahan maintained that, what you can say, extent of the dynasty. Okay, the very well constructed Taj Mahal, we all know Taj Mahal. It was constructed by Shah Jahan. He constructed it in the memory of his wife Mumtaz Mahal on the banks of river Yamuna at Agra in UP, that is Uttar Pradesh. Began in 1632 and ended in 1653. So you see how many years it took to build Taj Mahal. One of the 7 wonders of the world, and it is included in the list of UNESCO monuments. So Taj Mahal is very important. Please remember these facts about Taj Mahal. Then we have Aurangzeb ascended the throne with the title Alamgir. Alamgir. This is important. Who had the title of Alamgir? It was Aurangzeb. Then he was called as Zinda Fakir. What he was called as? Zinda Fakir, which means what? Living Fakir, living beggar. Then we have the contributions of the Mughals. The Mughals call themselves as Badshahas. Badshahas means kings. They call themselves as kings. Then Persian was their official language. Jahangir wrote Tusuke Jahangiri. Important. The works and authors, please don't neglect them. They are all very important. Abul Fazl wrote Akbarnama and Ane Akbari in the Persian language. Badani translated Ramayana. Faizi wrote Lilavati, and Lilavati was a mathematical work. This is important. Faizi wrote Lilavati and Lilavati was a mathematical work. Raja Todarmal translated Bhagavad Puran into Persian language. Tulsidas wrote Ramacharitamanasa, Surdas wrote Sursagar. Akbar's period. During Akbar's period, the style of architecture called as Indo-Persian developed. Also, the throne of Mayura, which means peacock throne. Can you see the picture over here? This is peacock throne. It took 7 years of work and 1 crore expense to build this peacock throne, and it was built by Shah Jahan. Okay, can you see this picture over here? He is Aurangzeb. The Marathas. Let us understand about the Marathas now. During the 17th century, Maharashtra was under the control of Nizam Shahis of Ahmednagar and Adil Shahis of Vijaypura, that is Bijapur. Shivaji had two aims. What were his aims? Protection of Hindu religion was the one aim, and establishment of Maratha kingdom was another aim. His guru was Dadaji Kondadeva. Please remember that Dadaji Kondadeva was also appointed as the guardian of Shivaji. Guardian of Shivaji. Remember this. He built a new fort called Pratapgarh. Aurangzeb sent Shaista Khan and Jai Singh to capture Shivaji. Aurangzeb sent Shaista Khan and Jai Singh. Chautha, that is 1/4 of the land tax fixed in the regions of Shahi and Mughal areas. Sardeshmukhi, this was also a tax, that is 1/10 of the tax. It was a fixed land tax in his own kingdom. So Chautha and Sardeshmukhi was the kind of taxes that were there during the time of Shivaji the Great. Shivaji's coronation took place in 1674 CE at Raigad. He had the title of Chhatrapati. What is the meaning of Chhatrapati? If you know it, then comment below. Marathi was the language of administration. He had 8 important ministers called as Ashtapradhanas. Shivaji's revenue collection was Rayatvari system. Please remember this. This was asked several times in previous exams. It can be asked in future also. Shivaji's revenue collection system. What kind of system did he follow? He followed the Rayatvari system. Rayatvari system means the dealings or the collection of taxes were directly from the farmers. Okay, Rayat, farmer. Guerrilla warfare. What is this guerrilla warfare? Hiding in the hills, forest and shrubs and attacking the enemies abruptly. So can you see this picture over here? In this picture, there are some people over here hiding in the hills and attacking the enemies. This kind of warfare was called as guerrilla warfare, and Shivaji was very famous in guerrilla warfare. Peshwas. Peshwas means what? Prime ministers. So let us see the prime ministers, the famous prime ministers of Maratha kingdom. First is Balaji Vishwanath. What he did, he united the Marathas. That is the Scindia of Gwalior, Holkar of Indore, Bhosle of Nagpur and Gayakwar of Baroda. He united them all. The second is Bajirao I. Bajirao I. So Pune became his administrative center. and he was called as Shivaji the Second. This is very, very important. Who was called as Shivaji the Second? It was Bajirao I. And who was this Bajirao I? He was Prime Minister, that is, he was Peshwa. Then we have Balaji Bajirao. The third battle of Panipat was fought between Balaji Bajirao and Ahmad Shah Abdali. This is very, very important. What is the year? If you know, then comment below. Okay, so the third battle of Panipat was fought between Balaji Bajirao and Ahmed Shah Abdali. Balaji Bajirao was defeated. That means what? Ahmed Shah Abdali won. Then we have the Madhav Rao I. He defeated the Nizam in the battle near Ahmednagar, and he also defeated Hyder Ali. So powerful, isn't it? Here we have completed the first lesson. Let us see the maps to understand the extent of the empires well. Can you see the map over here? This is a map which shows you the extent of the Mughal Empire. This light brown shade is the extent of the Mughal Empire. This empire was huge, isn't it? Yes. And this map over here shows you the extent of the Maratha kingdom. Of course, you must be thinking that Maratha kingdom was just confined to Maharashtra, but no, it was all over India. Can you see this? This empire too was huge. So here we have completed the first lesson. The second lesson is Bhakti Panth. Jnana Marga, Bhakti Marga, Karma Marga, and Yagna Marga were the important paths to attain Mukti, that is salvation. Bhakti means pure faith in the God. This is important. Please remember the meaning. Bhakti means pure faith in the God. Absolute belief in the God and total surrenderance to the God were the basic tenets of the Bhakti Panth. In the North India, we had the saints Ramananda, Namadeva, Kabir Das, Guru Nanak, Mirabai, Sri Chaitanya, Raidas, and Surdas. And in Karnataka, we had Purandaradasa, Kanakadasa, and Shishunala Sharifa. Let us first see the saints of North India. First is Ramananda. He was the philosopher, follower of Ramanuja's philosophy. What was Ramanuja's philosophy? It was Vishishtadvaita. Vishishtadvaita. So, Ramananda was the follower of Ramanuja's philosophy of Vishishta Advaita. Can you see this picture over here? He is Ramananda. Ramananda established a Vaishnava religious school. Varanasi was a center. His unique message to the people was, do not question the caste and creed. Think of the Lord and become one with Him. God will never question one's caste. Whoever believes in God would be blessed by the God. Such an important message is given by Ramananda. Today we keep on questioning people's caste and religion. What for? Please follow Ramananda. Let us see Kabir. The second is Kabir. Weaving work called as Julas in Varanasi was done by Kabir, also student of Ramananda. Kabir Das, can you see this picture over here? He is Kabir Das. He was the student of Ramananda. He composed couplets known as Dohas. The followers of Kabir were called as Kabir Panthis. This is important, meaning travelers who go on the path of Kabir. The third saint is Sri Chaitanya. He took Diksha at the age of 25 and became the disciple of Sri Krishna Panth. In fact, the Sri Krishna Panth, which is famous in the north, it is all because of Sri Chaitanya. He wrote a book called as Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is really, really important. Please remember, it is easy to remember. Sri Chaitanya. The name itself is there in the work. Chaitanya Charitamrita. So please remember this. The fourth saint is Guru Nanak. Guru Nanak was born in Talavandi. Important again. Established a relative center in Kartarpur. He started a langar, Langar means what? It was community kitchen and it was later called as Gurudwara. The followers of Guru Nanak were called as Sikhs and he was the founder of Sikhism. Sikhism is one of the religions of India. Guru Granth Sahib called as Adi Granth by Sikhs. So Guru Granth Sahib, which is also called as Adi Granth, this is the holy book of Sikhs. Then we have Mirabai. Mirabai was the disciple of Ravidas. Remember this. Songs of devotion towards Krishna. So she used to write, or she used to make bhajans and kirtans, sings bhajans and kirtans, all for his favorite Lord, that is Lord Krishna. Then we have Sufi saints. They wore coarse woolen clothing called as saf, and they were called as Sufis. Poetic works of Mrigavati of Kutuban. Mrigavati is a work written by Kutuban and Padmavat of Malik Muhammad Jaisi. So Padmavat is a work written by Malik Muhammad Jaisi. This you have to remember, it is important. Uphold the Sufi philosophy. So the two works that talk about the Sufi philosophy is Mrigavati of Kutuban 1 and Padmavat of Malik Muhammad Jaisi 2. 12 different groups were there among Sufis. 4 are important: Bidar, Kalaburgi, Vijaypura, and other places of North India. Urus were done by these Sufi saints. What is this Urus? Urus is a kind of a fair, like Jatara we have, right? So that is Urus. It's a kind of a celebration. Now let us see the saints of Karnataka. Purandaradasa and Kanakadasa were the foremost among the Bhakti movement in Karnataka. Their path is known as Dasa Parampare. Whose path? Purandaradasas and Kanakadasas. So this is important. Please remember this. The first saint in Karnataka was Shishunala Sharifa. He was also called as Muhammad Sharif. Sharif is a Parsi word. It's a Parsi word which means a man who has ideal goals or a man of worth, and he is respected by all. Can you see this picture over here? This is a picture showing Sufi saints. So Sufis used to be like this, dressed in white and simple with that beard and noor on their face. Okay. And can you see this picture? He is Shishunala Sharifa. The guru of Shishunala Sharifa was Govinda Bhatta. He became the harbinger of Riyavat literature. This is important. Harbinger of Riyavat literature. Next we have is Purandaradasa. So the guru of Purandaradasa was Vyasaraya, and Vyasaraya said what? Purandaradasa is Dasa among the Dasas. He said this. This is important. Purandaradasa is called as the father of Carnatic music. Again important, this has been asked several times. The first name of Purandaradasa was Sinappa Nayaka. He preached Madhva philosophy. Madhva philosophy is whose philosophy? What philosophy is Madhva philosophy? Madhva philosophy means the philosophy preached by Madhvacharya. Which philosophy did he preach? We have done this before in the previous classes. Please comment below. He said, what is the use of cleaning the external filth? Filth means dirt. Without cleaning the internal filth. Without cleaning the internal filth. Such a great thing he has said. Without faith, the mere dipping in river is of no use. One has to stay alive and emerge victorious. Human birth is great and never spoil it, O fools. Dasa means Purandara Dasa. Who said this? This was again said by Vyasaraya. Can you see this picture over here? This is Purandara Dasa. So Purandara Dasa was indeed great person. Next we have is Kanakadasa. This was the third saint Kanakadasa. His first name was Timmappa. People called him as Kanaka. The meaning of Kanaka is gold. Was mortally wounded in war and ran on the Dasa path. So it is said that Kanakadasa did not had any intention of getting into this Dasa literature and all that. But once he was mortally wounded in the war. So when he was wounded in the war, he paused for some time and thought about the existence of this life and the meaning of this life, and all these questions came up in his mind, and finally he got attracted towards this Dasa literature, and then he became Kanakadasa. He wrote Mohanatarangini, Nalacharite, Ramadhanya Charite, and Hari Bhakti Sara. All these works are important. Please remember them. Saints of Bhakti movement composed kirtans and bhajans. In Hindi, Surdas composed Sursagar and Tulsidas composed Ramacharita Manasa. This has appeared several times. Please remember this. Abhangs in Marathi. Abhangs in Marathi. Then Jnanadeva wrote Jnaneshwari in Marathi. Jnanadeva wrote Jnaneshwari in Marathi. This is also important. Here we have completed the second lesson. The third lesson is Europe in the Middle Ages. Roman Empire 395. Roman Empire had two parts, like the Eastern Roman Empire, that is the Byzantine Empire. This existed from 395 CE to 1453 CE. 1453, what happened in this year? It was the fall of Constantinople. So it existed until that year. Then Western Roman Empire from 395 to 476 CE. The medieval Europe ends with the capture of Constantinople by the Turks in 1453 CE. Medieval period is often referred to as the Dark Ages of Europe. Later, the beginning stage of the medieval period was called as the Dark Ages. So first, the scholars used to say that the medieval period, the whole of the medieval period in the Europe was called as the Dark Ages. Why? Because no developments took place in Europe. But later in time, they started saying that only the beginning stage of this medieval period as Dark Ages, because they said only in the beginning stage of this medieval period there were no developments, but later in time certain developments were seen. Then we had two classes in the medieval period, that is the landlords who were called as patricians and the poor who were called as plebeians. The powerful men who owned the lands were called as nobles, and the people who took land from them were called as vassals. To protect the granted lands from the division of the system of primogeniture came into effect. To protect the granted lands from division, the system of primogeniture came into effect. I hope you have got this. This is anyway very important. Please remember this. Feudalism consisted of two important traditions, which were those investiture and homage. What do you mean by investiture and homage? Let us see. Investiture, the feudal lord gave assurance of justice and protection to the vassal. So this is investiture. Homage, handing down of power according to customs. The vassals promised loyalty and service to the feudal lord. Loyalty and service to the feudal lord. Feudalism consisted of two important traditions. One is investiture and one is homage. What happened in investiture? In investiture, the feudal lord, that is the person who had all the lands and all, the rich person, he assured justice and protection to the vassals. Vassals, the people who borrowed land from him. And what happened in homage? Homage is handing down of power according to customs. In this, the vassals promised loyalty and service to the feudal lord. The vassals, the people who borrowed land from feudal lord, they said, we will be loyal and we will serve you. This is homage. The disease plague that engulfs the group during the 14th century killed over 3.5 crore people, and one third of the population was pushed to death. This is called as Black Death in history. This is very, very important. Please remember this. Also, can you see this picture over here? Yes, this is the picture of the Roman Empire in 117 AD at its greatest extent. Can you see this? This red thing? The whole of this is the Roman Empire. It was so huge, isn't it? Also, can you see this picture over here? This picture is the picture of the Black Death in history. Can you see how the people are dying? And the people over here have become so thin, they have become so weak, isn't it? Yes, it was drastic. It was seriously drastic. Here we have completed the third lesson as well. The fourth lesson is modern Europe. The word Renaissance has evolved from the Latin word renascere. Renaissance means rebirth, revival, or new beginning. Please remember the meaning. And also, sometimes they just ask you as to the word Renaissance has been derived from the which language. It is Latin language because the origin is renascere, which is a Latin word. So please remember that it was derived from the Latin language. In 1453, Ottoman Turks captured Constantinople, the gateway of the European trade with Asia. In 1455, a German by name Gutenberg invented printing machine. This is important. Please remember this. Renaissance first began in Italy. That is why Italy is called as the land of Renaissance. Remember this. This is very, very important. During the time of Renaissance, humanism developed. Then there is something called as imitation of the best. What is this? This is nothing but the main feature of Renaissance. Imitation of the best means there were certain people who showed some interest in the great culture, and there were another people who wanted to copy them. They had this desire to cultivate that culture, that whatever was, practiced by certain group of people. So that is why the feature of imitation of the best developed during the time of Renaissance. Italy was the motherland of great writers. This is also important. See, Italy was the motherland of great writers. And the great writers come from which place? The place where the Renaissance takes place. So, like this, you can connect the story and remember that Renaissance first began in Italy. That is why it was called as the land of Renaissance. And the main feature of Renaissance it is the imitation of the best developed over here, and the great writers that is are from Italy. That is why it is called as the motherland of great writers. So, like this, you can connect and remember the things. Petrarch. Petrarch was called as the father of Renaissance. Africa is his famous poem, which is written in Latin language. This is very important. A collection of 100 stories called as Decameron was written by Italian Boccaccio. Deca means 10, right? So like this you can connect 10 to 100 and remember that Decameron was a collection of 100 stories and it was written by whom? Italian Boccaccio. B has written something D. So like this you can connect and remember. Divine Comedy was written by Dante. Canterbury Tales was written by Chaucer, that is Geoffrey Chaucer of England. Quixote by Cervantes of Spain. Utopia was written by Thomas More of England. All these works are really important. Please remember them. These four works are really important. Please remember them. Can you see this picture over here? He is Petrarch. And this picture over here, this is the famous painting which was painted by Leonardo da Vinci, that is Mona Lisa. When you see this woman closely, you don't understand whether she is going to smile next or she is going to cry. So that is why this painting is really famous. Let us see the paintings. Michelangelo's Adam and Final Decision. Leonardo da Vinci, Last Supper and Mona Lisa, Raphael's Sistine Madonna, and Titian's Assumption of the Virgin. How will you remember this? Let us see. See, Michelangelo has painted Adam and Final Decision. So, we all know that the final decision can be given by angels, right? So like this, you can connect angel to final decision, or you can connect Adam. Adam, who was the first prophet, right? So the first man or the first prophet, Adam. Adam, when he was born, he was assisted by certain angels. So like this, you can, make stories and connect this angel to Adam or final decision. And remember that Michelangelo painted Adam and final decision. Leonardo da Vinci, who is very famous, and we all know that he has painted Mona Lisa. We all know this. Last Supper, somehow please connect Last Supper to Leonardo da Vinci and remember that he has painted it. Raphael's Sistine Madonna. So there was a person called as Raphael and he was a madman. Or you can connect it like this, rap. Rap. What is rap? Yeah, rap is a kind of a song, but it is so difficult to rap. When you rap, you go mad. You go mad. So, Raphael painted Sistine Madonna. Titian's Assumption of the Virgin, this you have to remember somehow. All these paintings are also important. Please remember that. Then we have Kepler. He was a German scientist. Planets revolve around the sun in an oval orbit. So he said this. Then Galileo telescope. He discovered telescope and he also supported the theory of Copernicus. What was this theory of Copernicus? It was heliocentric theory. Heliocentric theory in which Copernicus said that sun is the center of the universe and all the other planets including earth revolve and rotate around the sun. This was first told by Copernicus and Galileo supported this theory of Copernicus. Newton, the laws of gravitation. He gave us the laws of gravitation. And Vesalius, he conducted a human surgery. Please remember all their works. They were all the great scientists and, people who were involved in science. Then we have the geographical explorations. They took place in the 16th century. Marco Polo explained the richness of India and China in his book Travels of Marco Polo. This is important. Mariner's compass. Can you see this picture over here? This is Mariner's compass. It is an instrument used to show distance and route to the navigators. Navigators, the people who sail the ship. Then, astrolabe. Can you see this picture? This is astrolabe. It is an instrument used to show time, distance of sun, planets and stars from Earth. Portugal and Spain, that is people from Portugal and people from Spain were involved in this geographical explorations. Okay, people from Portugal and Spain. Bartholomew Dias reached the southern tip of African continent and called it as the Cape of Good Hope. This is also important. In 1498 CE, Vasco da Gama of Portugal reached Calicut in India of Portugal. Christopher Columbus of Genoa City reached Bahamas and West Indies, that is the Caribbean islands. Amerigo Vespucci of Italy discovered America. That is why this country of America is named after his name, that is Amerigo America. This is also important. Then Portugal's Cabral reached Brazil in 1500 CE. Balboa climbed a hill. Balboa climbed a hill near Panama Strait. Where does it come? Please comment below. And saw that the vast ocean of Pacific Ocean is there. Portuguese sailor Ferdinand Magellan. Again, Portuguese sailor Ferdinand Magellan was the first person to go around the world. That is, Ferdinand Magellan was the first person to circumnavigate the world. It is called as circumnavigate. He was the first person to circumnavigate the world. The questioning of the authority of the Catholic Church and the Pope with the rise of modernity is called as religious reformation. This is also important. Martin Luther. Can you see this picture? He is Martin Luther. The founder of religious reformation movement. In 1517, Martin opposed the sale of pardon letters. This is very, very important. 1517, remember the year. The followers of Martin Luther were called as Protestants. The famous 30 Years' War is the war between the Protestants and the Catholics. This is also important. Three sects in Christianity developed, that is the Catholic Church, the Orthodox Church, and the Protestant Church. Catholic Church Reformation was called as Counter Reformation. This was the Reformation done against the religious reformation that was done by Martin Luther. The leader of this Counter Reformation was the Spanish aristocrat called Ignatius Loyola. See this picture? He is Ignatius Loyola. Actually, Ignatius of Loyola, he is called as. Loyola is a place. He founded the Jesus Society in 1540. Inquisition, a religious practice of interrogating those who violated the dictates of the church and punishing them, came into existence in 1542. This is also important. What do you mean by inquisition? It was a religious practice of interrogating those people who violated the dictates of the church, because church was the head of the religion. It was considered the head of the religion, and then punishing them. This came into existence in 1542. And who founded Jesus Society? It was founded by Ignatius Loyola in 1540. Please remember the years. Then we have this industrial revolution, which is very, very important. Please be careful when you read about it. Started in England in 18th century, revolution means the fast-paced, violent, intense change in the political field. Now, everything that we study in this page is really, really important from the point of view of competitive exams. Please remember the whole information that is there on this page. So, James Hargreaves invented the weaving machine called spinning jenny in 1764. Richard Arkwright improved this spinning jenny, which was invented by James Hargreaves in 1769, and invented water frame. In 1779, Samuel Crampton invented the machine called as mule. John Kay invented horseshoe. Edmund Cartwright invented a weaving machine called as power loom in 1785. In 1793, Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin. In 1705 CE, Thomas Malcolmus invented a kind of a steam engine. James Watt improved this steam engine in 1774 CE. In 1801 CE, Richard Trevithick invented an automatic steam engine which moved on rail tracks. In 1815 CE, George Stephenson invented a rail coach, and an American called Robert Fulton invented steamship. So, how will you remember this information? I will try to help you a little bit wherever I can. James Hargreaves invented a weaving machine called a spinning jenny in 1764. How will you remember this? See, James is rhyming to gems, right? This is something that we eat. And also Jenny is rhyming to jelly. Jelly is also something that we eat. So like this you can connect gems and jelly. And remember that James Hargreaves invented spinning machine, or else we eat this James by spinning them, or we eat it with a girl named Jenny. So like this you can just connect James Hargreaves with spinning Jenny and remember that. Richard Arkwright, he invented water frame. So Arkwright has a right in it. If you have water, everything will be right. Don't worry. Arc. Arc is a kind of a shape, right? Arc. So this arc is given to the frame, isn't it? So like this you can connect Richard Arkwright to water frame, and remember that Richard Arkwright invented water frame by improving spinning jenny in 1769. Also these years are also important, okay? Because whenever you don't remember anything, these years help you. In 1779, Samuel Crampton invented a machine called as mule. Samuel has mule and he invented mule. Okay? So like this you can remember this. Only the thing is the placing of E is different. It is here over here and it is after L over here. But you can remember the pronunciation, the words. John Kay, he invented horseshoe. So whenever you see the shoe, the picture, the shape of shoe is something like this, isn't it? It is something like this. And when you draw it, it shows K. So John Kay invented horseshoe. Edmund Cartwright invented weaving machine called as power loom. When you have power, everything will be right with you. Edmund rhymes to almond. Almond, that is badam. So when you eat almond, you will have power. So like this, you can connect Edmund, which rhymes to almond, with power, or right with power. And remember that Edmund Cartwright invented power loom in 1785. Ellie Whitney invented cotton gin. So have you seen cotton balls? Cotton balls will be which color? White, isn't it? So Ellie Whitney invented cotton gin. 1705 CE, Thomas Malcolmus invented a kind of steam engine. Okay, kind of steam engine. Mal. Mal. Mal means what? It means, something, something. Mal means something, some material. So materials will be used in steam engine to build this steam engine, isn't it? So Thomas Malcolmus invented a kind of steam engine. He didn't even invent a steam engine. Some material he invented which was like steam engine. It was kind of a steam engine. Then James Watt, we all know him. He invented steam engine in 1774. This we all know. This is really important and we all know this. So please remember this somehow. In 1801, Richard Trevithick invented automatic steam engine which moved on rail tracks. So in Trevithick, automatic, rail tracks, T. We all have T in these three words. So like this, you can connect the T and remember, or Trevithick. So if something is thick, it has to be automatic, or else it will be very disastrous, isn't it? And what will be thick? Rail tracks will be thick. Okay, so like this, you can connect Richard Trevithick to automatic steam engine and railway tracks. In 1815 CE, George Stephenson invented rail coach. So, my son wants a coach to train him in some sport. Like this, George Stephenson can be connected to rail coach and be remembered that in 1815 CE, George Stephenson invented a rail coach. Then, an American, Robert Fulton, invented a steamship full of water. Whenever you're full, you either cry or you shout, right? So ship runs on water, isn't it? So like this, you can connect full with ship, full and ship. So Robert Fulton invented a steamship, or we take loads, tons of material on the ship to transport it to somewhere else. So ton also can be connected. Robert can also be connected. Most of the time, the commanders on the ship or the people on the ship are by the name Robert, isn't it? So Robert Fulton can be like this connected to the ship, and we can remember that he was the person who invented steamship. Okay, this is all this information on this page right from the beginning till end is really important. Please remember. Finally, we have a picture here. This is the picture of modern Europe. Can you see this? All these countries, that is the Turkey, Romania, Ukraine, Germany, France, Spain, all these countries were included in the modern Europe. Here we have completed the fourth lesson. The fifth lesson is revolution and unification of nations. Let us first see the American War of Independence. The four major countries colonizing North America were France, Spain, Holland, and England. So, England established 13 colonies along the Atlantic coast of North America. These 13 countries were called as New English colonies. New English colonies. This is important. Which were these 13 colonies? They were New Hampshire, New York, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. These 13 colonies are important. Please remember the names. And also remember the four major countries that colonized North America, that were France, Spain, Holland, and England. The Boston Tea Party 1773. What is this Boston Tea Party? See, in spite of protests, the British sent a ship full of tea to Boston Harbor. This enraged the colonies. So, a group of 50 people dressed like Red Indians entered the ship and they threw about 340 cartons of tea into the ship, into the sea. So, this whatever was done by the people of the colonies was called as Boston Tea Party 1773. It was kind of a protest, a revolt. The 7 Years' War from 1756 to 1763. War between England and France. Naval Act that happened in 1760. British colonies acquired the monopoly of sea trade. Molasses Act 1764 helped the American liquor manufacturers to transport molasses. What is this molasses? It's a thick, dark to light brown syrup that is separated from raw sugar in sugar manufacture. So this molasses is used for many things. It is used to make brown sugar, then it is also used to make flavors. It is also used in the distillation of rum. Then we have the Quebec Act 1774, the Stamp Act of 1765 CE. It was possible to impose taxes on tea, paper, glass, etc. in 1767 CE. The representatives of 13 British colonies of North America met in Philadelphia in 1774 CE. On 19th April 1775 at Lexington, when a troop of the colonies attacked the British, the American War of Independence began. So this is important. When did the American War of Independence began? On 19th April 1775 at Lexington, when a troop of the colonies of the 13 colonies, one of the colonies of the 13 colonies, a troop of it attacked the British, and from that very point, that very second, American War of Independence began. The Philadelphia Conference appointed George Washington as its commander. This is also important. On 4th of July 1776, the Philadelphia National Conference adopted the famous Declaration of Independence. England versus the colonies. This happened for 5 years. In the Battle of Saratoga, the British Army lost. This is really important. In which battle the British lost? It was the Battle of Saratoga that the British Army lost. In 1783 CE, as per the Paris Agreement, Britain accepted that the 13 colonies were independent. 4th July is celebrated as Independence Day in America. The third American President Jefferson says, every generation is a new nation. This is important. The third American president, his name was Jefferson, and he said what? That every generation is a new nation. Sometimes they will give you this quote, only this quote, and they will ask you as to who said this. So it's important to remember the person who said it. It was Jefferson, the third American president. He said what? That every generation is a new nation. In 1787 CE, all the representatives of the 13 independent colonies met at Philadelphia and chose George Washington as the President of the United States of America. They created a constitution which is the first written constitution of the world. This is also important. The American Constitution is the first written constitution of the in the world. Here is a picture. Can you see this picture? This is a picture of the 13 colonies. Can you see this? Georgia, South Carolina, Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, New York, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. And this is a picture that shows you one place, one part of the American Revolution. Can you see this? The people with their flags and fighting against the British. Then we have the French Revolution. In the opinion of the historian, the European history merged into one nation, one event, and one man. The nation is France, the event is French Revolution, and the man is Napoleon Bonaparte. France was ruled by the Bourbon dynasty. The king was Louis XVI and queen was Marie Antoinette, the Princess of Austria. Montesquieu's book Spirit of Laws, it condemned the divine rights of kings. Rousseau's work, Rousseau's work, Social Contract, talks says that man is independent at birth, but he is found chained everywhere. These works and what it talks about is important. Okay, Montesquieu wrote a book called Spirit of Laws and it condemns the divine right theory of the kings. Rousseau wrote Social Contract, and what does it say? It says that man is independent at birth but is found chained everywhere. King called for a session of states generals which was not called for 175 years. On 27th August 1789, the Declaration of Human and Civil Rights was adopted. This is important. A group called Jacobites who wanted harsh reforms came to power. Its leader, Robespierre, put the king's supporters into a machine called guillotine. Guillotine is a typical machine which was used to murder them all. It was a machine which cut their heads, beheaded them. Can you see this picture over here? This is a picture of French Revolution. There are flags and the people fighting. And this is a person, a hero, Napoleon Bonaparte. Unification of Italy, this is very important. Joseph Mazzini, Count Cavour, and Garibaldi were the architects of Italy's unification. Mazzini built an army called as Young Italy, this is important. Garibaldi constituted an army called as Red Brigade, this is also important. Count Cavour, he was the Sardinian Prime Minister. He began a newspaper called Risorgimento, this is also important. Young Italy was done by Mazzini. Red Brigade, it was an army constituted by Garibaldi, and Risorgimento newspaper was begun by Count Cavour. In 1861, Victor Emmanuel, again important, was declared as the king of Italy. Rome became the capital of Italy. Then we have the unification of Germany. This is also very important. The architect of the unification of Germany was Otto von Bismarck. Very important person. He had two aims. What were his aims? To drive away Austria from the German States Association. This was his first aim. He did not like Austria, and he wanted to drive them away from the Germany. Instead of losing identity with Germany, convert Germany into Prussia. So he didn't want to lose the identity with Germany and he wanted to convert Germany into Prussia. This was his second aim. Bismarck knew only blood and iron philosophy of blood and steel philosophy would work, and this blood and iron philosophy meant what? War tactics. The Prussian King William I was bestowed the title of German Emperor. This is also very, very important. Who had the title of German Emperor? It was King William I. And who was he? He was the Prussian King. Prussian King. Can you see this picture over here? He is none other than Otto von Bismarck. Unification of Italy and unification of Germany are really interesting and they have a lot of information. In fact, they are very important if you see the purview of history and also from the perspective of the competitive exams, but very less information has been given in the textbook. Whatever information is given is included in this PPT in this class. Can you see this picture over here? This picture shows you the unification of Italy. He is Mazzini, this is Count Cavour, and this is Garibaldi. Green, white, red, the flag of Italy. And this is the picture showing the unification of Germany. This whole thing is the unification of Germany, and this is Prussia over here. Can you see this? And Otto von Bismarck has played a very pivotal role, a very important and pivotal role in the unification of Germany. So here we have completed the fifth and the final lesson as well. I hope you liked and enjoyed this class. Guys, on a serious note, I'm doing a lot, making these presentations, adding pictures so that you people don't get bored, and having a quiz at the end and bringing it all in an easy and interesting manner so that it becomes easy for you and you get all the information in at one place. So please, it doesn't take much, it doesn't take many efforts. Like my videos, even if it has helped you like 1% or 2%, comment below, comment your scores, or comment whatever kind of videos you want me to make for you, and also share it to your friends and family as much as you can. Subscribe to my channel. Subscription is for free. It is for free. So subscribe to my channel and also press the bell icon below. It's time for quiz. Let's play quiz. The first question is, who started stamping down for horses? And the options are A. Babur, B. Hemi, C. Sher Shah, or D. Aurangzeb. And your time starts now. The time has already begun. The time is running out. And the answer is C. Sher Shah. Second, who was called as Shivaji II? A. Balaji Vishwanath, B. Bajirao I, C. Balaji Bajirao, or D. Madhav Rao I. And your time starts now. Please be quick. And the answer is B. Bajirao I. Third, Langar Community Kitchen was later known as A. Gurudwara, B. Guru Granth Sahib, C. Golden Temple, or D. The Sikh Place. You have to be really quick. The time is running out. And the answer is A. Gurudwara. Fourth, without faith, the mere dipping in the river is of no use. Who said this? A. Kanakadasa, B. Guru Nanak, C. Kabir, or D. Purandaradasa. Please be quick. And the answer is D. Purandaradasa. Fifth, what is called as Black Death in history? A. Deaths caused by Hitler, B. Deaths caused by the world wars, C. Deaths caused by the partitions of the nations, or D. Deaths caused by the disease plague. The time is running out. Please be quick. And the answer is D. Deaths caused by the disease plague. Sixth, the powerful men who owned the lands were called as what? A. Patricians, B. Vassals, C. Nobles, or D. Plebeians. The time is running out. Please be quick. And the answer is C. Nobles. Seventh, Titian's famous painting is A. Assumption of the Virgin, B. Adam and Final Decision, C. Sistine Madonna, or D. Mona Lisa. The time is running out. Please be quick. And the answer is A. Assumption of the Virgin. 8th, who founded the Jesus Society in 1540? A. Martin Luther, B. Petrarch, C. Ignatius Loyola, or D. Thomas Malcolmus. You have to be really quick. And the answer is C. Ignatius Loyola. 9th, the Boston Tea Party took place in A. 1770, B. 1771, C. 1772, or D. 1773. The time has already begun. You have to be really quick. And the answer is D. 1773C. 10th, who constituted an army called Red Brigade? A. Garibaldi, B. Joseph Mazzini, C. Otto von Bismarck, or D. Count Kevor. And the answer answer is A. Garibaldi. So what's your score? Please comment below your scores. Thank you for watching. Please do like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you.